Waiting.
Yeah, so flak is whack. And so today we're going to be looking at the build and showing how flak can mob with the best of them by taking out 8 people with 1 bullet. And this is going to hurt his ability to fight bosses, but you're still going to be getting massive damage, and mobbing will no longer be a problem for you.
Run, you weaklings!
Now before I show you the build, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that there are 2 problems with this build. One, the build is completely reliant on the bullet damage itself. That means anytime you're doing Mayhem 3 and you get a negative bullet modifier, it is going to severely impact this build. And negative gun damage modifiers don't really hurt that much because you have some elemental damage mixed in there. But if your bullet damage itself is negatively impacted by modifiers, the build's going to be a little rough. And 2, this build is not good at melting bosses. You can see me fighting Trant here, and I'm about to impact his health bar pretty bigly in a second. But overall, this build is not good for bosses. It's not the Grave Ward Melter that everyone posts. This build is designed to be sniper flak / shotgun flak, and the idea is that you mob really well with flak, maybe even in a co-op setting specifically, and you just provide a lot of support on the little guys. Alright, starting off in the hunter tree for the build, we have Leave No Trace. Every time you score a critical hit, you can get 1 ammo back at a 36% rate. That's going to be good for our one-shot weapons. Interplanetary Stalker, every time flak kills an enemy, they get a stack, and the stack gives him a bonus to all damage dealt. And so we're going to be relying on building these stacks and then cashing out with them on our fadeaway ability so we can max out how much damage we're doing per shot. Hunter's Eye, you get bonuses for fighting different types of enemies. We want the 21% bonus against humans. That's going to go well with our class mod. Head count, anytime you score a critical hit, action skill cooldown is reduced. We want fadeaway up as much as possible. 2 Fang, you shoot 2 projectiles, obviously. Big game, all our skills are much more effective. This one's kind of optional, you can move that point. The most dangerous game, killing bad boys or stronger enemies, it gives us increased crit damage and gun damage, but this lasts for 2 minutes. And so stacking that with Interplanetary Stalker is going to be huge for us. Then we have Grim Harvest, you just get increased gun damage and action skill damage. Galactic Shadow, increased crit damage, obviously. And then Megavore, critical hit chance 20% no matter where on the body you hit them. That's going to be huge for us. Self-reporting system, we just want to have more health and get it back as much as we can. Eager to Impress, anytime we kill an enemy, action skill cooldown rate is reduced. Lick the Wounds is going to be good in case you go down. Turn tail and run. For standing still for sniper rifles, the gun damage and increased fire rate is going to be good. And then with the shotgun, moving gets you damage reduction and health. And then finally, Persistent Hunter. It's just another gun damage one. Now I did forget to mention that we are using base fadeaway, not Gorillas in the Mist, because we want that 200% damage bonus. But for weapons, I'm going to start with the Hellwalker. It's a Jacob shotgun that does gross damage plus fadeaway, and all those bullets are going to ricochet. So it's really what you want to focus on if you're going to use a shotgun. It probably needs to be the Hellwalker. It also has good flame damage, so if your gun damage gets nerfed, it's not a big deal. Sniper rifle, I'm using the Masterwork crossbow. I would prefer Jacob sniper rifle for the ricochets, so you can kill like 8 people, because every bullet counts as a ricochet for crits. So when you crit with fadeaway with the 3-shot version, each ricochet counts as a crit, and so it keeps ricocheting as long as your ability is active. So probably one of Jacob's. The Unforgiven is kind of mandatory, but this is going to suffer from the bullet damage reduction modifiers that we talked about earlier. because it doesn't have any elemental damage. But if you don't have that, it's going to put out gross damage on crits. As you can see, 384%. And then the Abundant Projectile Recursor, it's not a Jacobs, but it does bounce, and it gets rid of shields and armor. So if you want to stay back, you can swap your shotgun to what is basically a sniper rifle, especially in co-op situations. It's going to be really nice. But in generally, there's a lot of freedom in this build. You want to stick towards the Jacob weapons, but it's totally not necessary to do so. It's just what you're going to want for the ricochet criticals. The shield isn't super important, at least not that I've found yet. You're going to have fadeaway up about every 8 seconds as long as you're killing with your stacks when you leave fadeaway, and that means you're invisible and get movement speed and health regeneration. So whatever is going to help you survive that 8-second downtime is going to be just fine. The biggest thing is going to be our class mod. As you can see here, we're getting plus 44% Jacob's weapon critical damage, and all our hunter skills are being boosted by 25%. So all those skills we went over in the hunter tree, 25% stronger, and all those Jacob weapons that we're already focusing on, when they ricochet, are still going to hit 44% harder. But then to swap out in boss fights, you're going to want to use the Bounty Hunter, because earlier we talked about 21% bonus crit damage against humans. This treats bosses as humans, and so you're going to get another 21% bonus damage. And for this, you could also swap in boss fights from your fadeaway to your Gorillas in the Mist. But really, that's all for the build. Now, I just want to show off our sniper, Flak, who honestly can mob with the best of them, because he's our little cowboy robot. And so I'll catch y'all next time, if there is a next time for this kind of stuff.